Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Inspiring episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, the host with the most, Phil Better, the podcast mogul. And today we have a truly remarkable guest whose impact resonates across various domains from businesses to personal growth. Our guest is a powerhouse who wears many hats with grace and excellence. As an executive at Goodleap, a multi-billion-dollar company, she has proven her prowess in the corporate world. But not only that, she is also a best-selling author, a dedicated influencer, and co-owner of the Go Abundance Women, a membership organization dedicated to helping women achieve greatness and abundance, and something that's after my own heart, helping people. Her passion for empowering women is evident in everything she does through her influential book, Big Voices, and her Women Empowering Network. She has been a beacon of inspiration, teaching countless women how to overcome self-sabotage and embrace the abundance mindset. She firmly believes that joy and success are intertwined, and she has dedicated her life to helping others find both. Listeners, get ready to be moved, motivated as we dive into the strategies and insight that have made her a true leader in her field. It is with great excitement and honor that I welcome to the podcast, Kelly Resendez. Kelly, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Phil. Man, that was an amazing welcome. Thank you.
You are very, very welcome. I pride myself on my welcomes and introductions of my guests.
Beautiful.
Because I think it's not my show. Yes, I'm the host and all that, but I'm secondary here. You have taken the time to come onto my podcast, share your amazing journey with my audience, to inspire others to jump into this crazy world of ours, even if they are moonlighting as, an executive at a multi-billion-dollar company. This is how I like to look at entrepreneurs who have both jobs. They moonlight as, their day job, and they actually full-time are into this this business that they run. But I love that you're here, and I thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. It's a pleasure.
So, Kelly, let's just jump into it. Why did you want to become an entrepreneur? What made you decide, hey, being a top exec isn't enough for me. I want to, have more stress, if it will.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was born into an entrepreneur family. Both my parents ran businesses and also invested in real estate. And I think when you grow up in that way, it really is something that you crave yourself. The freedom, the opportunity, just the impact that you can make as an entrepreneur is something that I've always wanted to do. And so prior to joining Goodleap, I was in the mortgage industry. And when you are, a 100% commission, you've been running your own business. So I've been doing that since 1998 and did that successfully until I joined the executive team here 13 years ago. But the reason for Go Abundance Women is I have an absolute burning desire just to shift the way that female leadership operates. I think the rules that we've been operating by for many years just don't work anymore. And so for myself, I really want to be able to help support and connect women to a new way of being within the work world and within entrepreneurship.
I love that. And you are the best case study for this Go Abundance, because you're showcasing how you are doing it. I imagine your co-founder is also doing the same in their workspace. So I don't want to take anything away from them, but we are talking about you. So it's you.
Yes.
But with working in this, working for a major multi-billion-dollar company, sometimes there are quote unquote conflicts of interest. And for my audience who are looking to, moonlight as, their day job and have their freedom on the other side, did you face any pushback from your management, from your team, or from your executives about starting this Go Abundance membership?
Yeah. So what I would tell you is that one of the areas that I think we all need to get a little better at is really being able to articulate what we need to feel successful, what motivates and drives us in our lives. And that was a conversation that I had with the founders of our company 13 years ago before I joined the company. Was, yes, I would love to do this And I also want to make a big impact in the world, especially within the female leadership world. And so, I'm going to be doing things outside of work, and you've got to trust that I'm going to make as big of an impact as I need to here at the company, and the things that I do on the outside, whether it's, at my lunch break like it is now, or after work, or on the weekends, only strengthens, the company, because what I do within Goodleap, is reinforced by what I do in GoBundance Women as well. The happier and more joyful and the better of a coach and leader I am within our organization, the more our employees really benefit. And so it's a win-win for both, that I am able to support other people and also, feel like a stronger and more influential leader myself.
I love that. I love how it's just circular. One's helping the other and just building on that. And you're getting paid to coach, but you're also, being paid to be a coach and
Yes.
keep your learning going. With the Go Abundance, I want to talk about that. How did that come about? Like, how did that membership form
Yeah.
in reality?
Yeah. So really the true story is I was writing the book Big Voices. I had what I would call my awakening in 2004, was a high achiever, top 1% in the nation in mortgage. By anyone that would have looked at me would have thought I was completely successful, and I was deeply miserable inside. And so as I went on that journey of self-discovery and finding the consciousness movement or different leaders and coaches that I followed over time, there was something that I really had, which was a deep feeling of loneliness. So as the higher level of consciousness I went to, the fewer people there were for me to be able to connect with. And so I had this deep loneliness in my life, and I was sharing it with somebody over time, and they told me about this organization and masterminds called GoBundance. There was a men's division at that time, and I found out about another one called M1, which is another great mastermind community. And so while I was waiting to connect with the owners of GoBundance Men, I joined M1. And that's truly where I saw the power of masterminds, the power of having other people that could help hold me accountable and make connections or support me as I was looking to continue to grow. And then did work with the leadership team and ownership team there at GoBundance Men to be able to partner on creating GoBundance Women. And so for myself personally, it came from that deep sense of loneliness, feeling like I was doing it alone, that I didn't, honestly, more than support, I didn't have a safe place to celebrate, because when you're a high achiever, it's really hard to go tell other people that might not be achieving at your level how great you might have just accomplished something, which I think is important, that we learn how to celebrate ourselves. I don't want to apologize for being awesome. I don't want to apologize for being, fantastic and worrying about how other people might feel. And so that's truly where it came from. And then it's just grown from there. And it's been an amazing journey, because connecting with other women who then you start to see, man, they're having the same core challenges that I did, feeling like they have to do it alone, feeling like the weight of the world is on their shoulders, until they get this support system that's really going to uplift them and get them to the next level.
Now, how long has Go Abundance Women been around? Just out of curiosity.
We're running on our 5th year now.
5th year. Congratulations. Yeah. Most businesses don't even make it 5 years.
Yeah.
So even better. Where do you hope to see Go Abundance in the next 10 years?
Yeah. In the next 10 years, I would love to have, over 1,000 female leaders that are a part of GoBundance Women, that are making just this ripple effect within the world. I didn't have a lot of, I would say mentors or people that I could look to say what's possible. Like, can I be an amazing partner to my sweetheart? Can I be a great mom? Can I stay in great physical shape? Can I have a great emotional state and be a top executive and have a business and continue to impact? Like, I want to see more women that show generations to come what's possible, that it's about asking for what we need. We don't need to grind. We don't need to kill ourselves to get to the next level. Like, it's possible to have success without sacrificing, your emotional state.
And I want to talk about sacrifice because you did mention that you wear a lot of hats. Not
Yeah.
only you are, a top executive at Good Leaps, you're a mom, you're a best-selling author, you're an influencer, you're a co-founder, a coach. All these things are going in on your life. How do you manage these very demanding roles? Because we know mothers are
Yeah.
the most demanding roles, while maintaining a sense of joy and fulfillment in your life and the balance that comes with it.
Yeah, it starts with a decision. I mean, honestly, Phil, that it just starts with a decision that I choose to live my life a certain way. And when you disconnect from external, like I would say, forces that can dictate how you feel, it makes a tremendous difference. And so I truly lived my life as a testament of just, challenges are just opportunities. So as I'm raising kids, number one, I had a strong conviction about what my priorities were. And so my top priority is God. Then it's my emotional and physical well-being. Then it's my partner and my children. And then it's work. And when you really declare and you're convicted about what your priorities are, life gets so much easier, because the truth of the matter is that most people don't have that type of conviction. They allow their physical and emotional well-being to be sacrificed because they have things at work. And I'm going to get to it. When things slow down, this is going to happen. The challenge is they're never going to slow down. Like, who you're being is the most important decision that you can make in your business. Like, how I show up, the energy level that I bring, the amount of influence that I have is going to impact your business overall. So you've got to make that decision that I choose to experience life differently. And so mindset really matters. Like, do you really truly have an abundance mindset? Or is it often that you dip into scarcity and start to feel a little bit like a victim? So you've got to figure that piece out. And so making sure you make that decision. Number one, you get crystal clear on your priorities, and then you make sure that you have the mindset to be able to support it. But what I know to be true is that the way that we do goal planning, the way that most people do goal planning, is all about doing. And there is value in doing. We're very dopamine heavy when it comes to doing. Well, the long lasting feeling, that just long, consistent feeling, that's given to you when you've got just a solid emotional state, your serotonin's regulated, you're getting sleep and whatnot. That's where it's really at. It's the being. So I would invite everyone to really start with how you want to feel, and then create goals. Because if you don't do that, you just get in that hamster wheel with everyone else, just the left brain doing, and you never feel any better. And life's too short. Like, I want to feel freaking fantastic every day. And it's my job, not anyone else's. It's my job to ensure that I own my joy and I stay in that state.
I love that, and I love how you were very distinct in clarifying that you do not let anybody else control your joy. It's all you. Um, this
Well, let's clarify that, Phil. I don't like that is my intention, right? I'm still human, and
oh,
there are times like
I have
that
no doubt.
that is there. Yeah,
And of
absolutely.
course, those are just challenges for you to overcome and become even
Yeah,
more stronger. Um,
absolutely.
with this mindset of abundance, when did that come into your life? Because I'm guessing the abundance mindset is something that we come to realize and we come to accept in ourselves. When did that come to fruition for you?
What I would say is that I didn't even really know what mindset was until I started my personal growth journey. So I'll be honest, the cards were stacked in my favor. Again, I had two entrepreneurial parents that worked hard and lived life, very well, in terms of, like, we went to the lake and we did a lot of fun stuff. So it was to my favor. My parents were also risk takers, and so that gave me a good, I would say, relationship with money. I looked at money in a very appropriate manner, it was just a conduit to get where I wanted to go and experience the things that I wanted to. So I didn't have any beliefs that I needed to really eliminate. But once I really started to figure out what mindset was, you know, I would tell you that it's just been taking pieces from many different places to build the beliefs that I needed to feel the way I wanted to. Most people go into life with, here's what I believe, and then the external outcomes and everything is filtered through that. And I believe you should hit Control Alt Delete on all your preferences, all your opinions, all your beliefs, and just start from scratch. Like if you want to be a positive, amazing person and you have a list of preferences of what other people should be saying or doing at all times, like you're going to be, again, a victim to your emotions on a regular basis. And so, the abundance mindset that I've really created and I teach, really starts with you're the creator of your own reality. And if you don't have a handle on managing your thoughts and see your thoughts as separate from yourself, like you're just going to be, again, whatever's happening in your life externally is going to affect you internally. And I just don't subscribe to that.
I like that because it puts more accountability on us as individuals to take control of this world and not let life affect us, let us affect life. And you're doing something with the Go Abundance Women mastermind. And I'm curious to see if in that mastermind, when women first join, have you seen a significant correlation between the problems or the barriers most women are facing when they first come into the organization?
Absolutely. Top one again, feeling like I've got to do it alone and not articulating clearly what help I need to get to the next level. So I'm a super connector. There's not a day that I'm not connecting different people, but part of that is asking, like, what's the next best connection that's going to take your business to the next level? Like, what help do you really need? Like, how can we help hold you accountable? And just that subtle shift in knowing they now have a network of other people that might have gone through what they did, that might already have resources that are involved, that might be able to help them delegate more appropriately or say no to more things is definitely a great advantage that they get. But the core problems for these, entrepreneurs that are coming in, feeling like they need to do it alone, not having the time or energy to invest in their own leadership skills. And it just, because everything's dependent on them, they don't have the time to be able to dedicate to it. And so we help them create that time. And then the third piece is they don't have, that support system to help them make big decisions and to really just be there to run ideas by. We have so many women that maybe come in as a W-2 and have now launched and scaled multi-million-dollar companies because they are not victim to this imposter syndrome that so many people are. Like sometimes you just need to hear somebody say like, Phil, you're made for this. Like, do you know how amazing you are? Like you can create any level of success that you want in your life. And sometimes we need to hear that. And when you're a high achiever, there's nobody else to tell you that because everybody else is, they need you. They need you to get to that place. And sometimes we need that reminder.
I like that. When you have those women in your masterminds, when they're facing those kind of like, oh, I have to do it all myself, they have all these kind of like negative mindsets and they're trying to change it. What would be the time frame that they start seeing kind of more of a positive change? And I know this obviously is dependent on each woman who joins, but would you say there's kind of like a general time frame these women start seeing these great improvements that you
super quick? I mean, 8 to 12 weeks, just between the combination of mindset coaching and our 8-week, growth accelerator course, they're going to get plenty to be able to shift right away. And a lot of times it's just taking that step back and having someone else say like, hey, if you're experiencing any of these things, it's not your fault. It's just a mindset. We just need to shift it. Let's replace it with these things. So as we take them through this series of starting with how you want to feel, then building your goals. We use what we call a master abundance playbook to create the playbook for your life. And it's such a thought-provoking exercise to start with how you want to feel that most people have just never thought about before. Like people are just used to feeling how they want. One of the greatest lessons that I learned from Brendan Bouchard, which I'm so grateful, had some time with him in Vegas over 10 years ago. And it was one of those, like, I just never thought about energy in the way that he made me rethink about it, which was, we're all just power plants and you start with nothing. Your job is to generate it all day. And I'd never thought about energy that way. It was like, most people go to work and they think my tank is full and I'm going to deplete myself all day long until I'm just laid flat at the end of the day. And I'm probably not going to make the best decisions for myself, like to exercise or do other things. I just want to numb myself to my day. And once I started to rethink the way, energy was, it was like, that's one of the biggest gifts that we give them, is like, do an abundance audit. Start to think about all the things that you do all day and what gives you energy, what takes your energy, what's neutral. How do you recalibrate your day so that you come out still feeling fantastic, so that when you go home to spend time with the most important people in your life, your sweetheart or your kids, that you're not completely laid out flat. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts that I would say. And it can happen very quickly.
I can already feel a great energy shift in the way you said that, because it does make sense. I remember going to work thinking that the energy is up here, but we have to fill
Yeah.
our tank with joy each day, so that we do have the energy
Yeah.
to empty it at the end of the day with our family and who are most important.
Yeah. And the one thing I would say about mindset and just the way that people look at it, mindset isn't something like you just possess. And we've got to get away from that. Mindset is something you practice every day, just like gratitude, just like positivity, just like resilience. They're just all skills. And most of us, our amygdalas hijacked us completely because we go into fight or flight so quickly. And then we deplete our energy because we think we're in danger. And our subconscious mind is just running the show. And that's one of the greatest gifts that, my journey was 20 years ago, is just recognizing I'm not my thoughts. And then, talk about an aha. I didn't ever know, like, I never thought about my thoughts before. I never thought about them as separate from who I am. And once you start to take an inventory on all the ridiculous thoughts that we have and all the ridiculous stories that we tell ourselves, because our brain doesn't like not, it wants to fill in the blank. Like, it's going to fill in the wrong blanks because it's negative. As much
It's
as
trying to keep us safe. That's all the
it's just
brain's
trying to
trying to
keep
do.
us safe. And studying neuroscience and working with my neuroscience coach Ellen Lenz, who's amazing, if anyone ever needs help with this, has been like life-changing, because we're just in a society that really rewards left brain. And where the magic's at is when we tap into our entire brain and we integrate that right brain creativity with the left brain, capacity as well.
You're reminiscent of a previous guest that I don't want to spoil for audience
Yeah.
if you haven't listened to it, but she talks about how art is healing. She does art different time,
Love
and
it.
how one of her students went from not being able to walk or anything to being able to walk and converse, and when even the doctors say he wasn't. So it's like what you said, when you're using your whole brain and not just one side of your brain.
Yeah.
Magic starts to happen, and it's that old adage, oh, we only use 10% of our brain, and you're saying no, we can use 100% of our brain if we link into that abundance mindset and just remember how creative we can be.
Yeah.
What have you found to be somewhat challenging in your journey, that since you're much further along than the majority of the people listening to this podcast,
Yeah.
in the abundance but also in the entrepreneurial world, what
Yeah.
have you found to be something that you're facing now that's kind of challenging?
Yeah. Well, part of the personal growth journey, and for anyone listening out there, is that, I think the one piece that can come up is a lot of judgment, and judgment for other people that might not be where you're at. Because as much as I want to think I have wisdom, there's nothing that says my wisdom is the right wisdom. Right. And so really giving an opportunity to be radically accepting of where other people are, and not believing that you're better than, or they should be on this journey with you. I see people that go into personal growth, and it's funny when Tony Robbins talks to his audience, he'll be like, don't go home like you're coming down the mountain to your partner and be like, this is everything that's changing. It's not, it might be the journey for me, but it doesn't need to be the journey for you. And one of the greatest abundance blocks that people face is judgment. And we don't even realize how often we judge. Like, I can't believe they made that investment. I can't believe that they said that. I can't believe that they did that. I really do try to give people permission to be human and compassionate for where they are. Because what no one teaches us in school is that emotional intelligence, they're just skills. Like, maybe I was born with a little bit more resilience. Maybe I was born with a little bit more confidence or whatnot. But at the same time, there's skills that you can learn and practice. And you've got to learn how to really just fill your brain with those things. So, I would say the greatest piece of really removing judgment is removing from overlaying our opinions on other people. I try really hard not to give my opinions. And my children are both adults now. Talk about the greatest challenge in conscious parenting is not giving other people your opinion. Like, we could do it better and faster than them, but we're robbing them from the experiences that, struggle and failure and all of these other things. Like, I am deeply concerned about generations to come, the entitlement, the addiction to technology, just the other things that might plague them. And I think as parents, part of why I'm so passionate about up-leveling female leadership is that our children need to see. They need to see us being present. They need to see us just truly being in joy without putting our opinions on other people and judging other people for what they're doing.
I love that. I love that. One of the essential themes of this podcast, obviously it's in its name, is investing in oneself.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what is one of the most important investments women should make in
Mhm.
themselves to ensure long-term success and personal fulfillment?
Yeah. Number one, make a decision today to put yourself first. Investing in yourself, absolutely important. Don't dabble with it. Like, don't dabble in it. Like, be fully committed that I choose to put myself first. And I shared this with my kids the entire time. My kids knew mom has to take a bath. Like, I used baths as like my transition from being, boss to mom,
Wow.
so that I could I'd tell my kids, mommy needs to wash her day off. Give me a few minutes. I need some time so that I can put myself first. The other piece of it is just adopting a morning ritual is the most powerful thing that you can do. Fill your mind right when you wake up, when it's most, I would say, just ready for new information. Fill it with what you want to believe. Fill it with your goals. Journal out what you need help with. Journal out what you're trying to create. Meditate. Do the things that are going to put you into a state, because it does not matter what comes at me every single day at work. It's just, okay, shoulder shrug, let's go. If I didn't invest in myself, if I didn't invest in that morning ritual, I know if I started my day like everyone else, looking at my cell phone and taking on other people's challenges right out of the gates, I would feel differently. And then know that, when it comes to energy, that is the greatest thing that you can invest in. How do you get enough sleep? How do you fuel your body with the right foods? I could go on for hours about how women could change the food industry with our shopping habits. People complain about craft or this. It's like, we don't need to complain about what big corporations do. Just buy differently. Quit feeding, your families horribly processed food, and they'll stop making it. Like, they will. They will have to, because
Yeah.
buyers have that control. But fuel your body, and then take radical responsibility for your physical health. And what I mean by that is, if you're trusting Western medicine to prevent you from having disease or other things, like, you're putting your trust in the wrong place. Investing in yourself means I'm going to go educate myself on what really is important about my health, so that I can be there for generations to come and still be thriving.
I love that. Speaking of generations to come, I want to look back at your 10-year-old self, pass on that that knowledge from one generation to another, because it could
Yes.
be at least, I would say, you have at least a generation, which is 25 years. So there's at least a 25-year gap there. We have a generation there. What is the one piece of advice you would love to be able to hand back to your 10-year-old self?
Oh my goodness. The first thing that I would do is just hug that little sweetheart in me and say, honey, just quit worrying about what other people think. that it was the greatest struggle for me. You know, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Until I had my awakening, I had no idea. I don't think I lived a present day. Everything was filtered through what other people believed, and really just find that deep, connection with myself, that I was the only one who I needed validation from. And I'm going on a little bit, but it's just that deep belief of worthiness. Like, if we all embrace that deep belief of worthiness, and it had nothing to do with what happened on the external world, man, would the world be a better place.
I love it. I love it. I think that's some great advice. Sorry, Kelly, I'm going to jump off screen here. I want you to let the audience know where they can connect with you, how they can find out more about Go Abundance Women. So the floor is yours.
Absolutely. So I have a great 3-part series for you on really just overcoming self-sabotage and creating that life of abundance that you're all destined for. So you can head over to www.downloadthepod.com and get access to that. You can find all the information on Go Abundance Women there, and in connection with me too. In Go Abundance, we have pods that we put you into, which really truly become that board of directors or advisors in your life, so that you don't feel like you have to do it alone. So I look forward for you checking that 3-part series out again at www.downloadthepod.com.
I love it. Kelly, thank you so much for being here, sharing your abundance mentality with the audience. I already feel like my mindset is changing for a more positive one with more abundance in it. So I want to thank you so much for being here.
I loved it. Thank you so much for such a great conversation.
You're welcome. To my audience, make sure you check out the show notes down below, which will have all the links to Kelly, plus the downloadthepod.com there, so you can get that 3-part mini series that she has for you there. And I want to thank you all for listening, and always remember to invest in yourself.